Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen. We got the latest highlights from MonicaLong, Eric Van Miltenberg, and Brad Garlinghouse from over in Tokyo 2024. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $2.06 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off by 2.2%. Bitcoin, 55,800 plus right now. Ethereum, 2,300. And Tether is 117 billion plus market cap. USDC, number 6 spot at 34 billion plus market cap. And XRP at number 7 spot, 53 cents. Oh my gosh, I just bought the dip. I guess I got to buy it again. This is what keeps happening. I buy the dip, it dips again. I buy the dip, it dips again. I just keep buying the dip. But you know what? I've built a discipline that I'm very proud of within myself. And it may sound awkward to a lot of early investors and new investors, but you know, buying the dip and buying the downside of the market has helped me build a portfolio beyond my imagination. And I couldn't be more proud of the fact that I've built that discipline and that habit for myself to do so. It's not financial advice. I'm just sharing my digital perspectives and my journey as an investor for myself. All right, so look, the whole market's off. That's where I take comfort here. We're off by 2.8 on the 24, and we're off by 4.7 on the 7-day, the range of price. 53 cents on the bottom, 56 on the top. We're sitting just above the bottom line there at 54 cents right now on Fiat Link. But let me tell you, the opportunities are vast and broad in this space. And Link2 is one of those places where you have remarkable opportunities. And for a very long time, they were limited to only certain people, but not anymore. Now they are opening all investors to their opportunity here. They have so many products on this platform, it's remarkable, in so many growth sectors you won't believe it. AI, digital assets, fintech, blockchain, you name it, they got it. I can't even name all the different sectors of growth that they're covering. Robotics, I mean, my goodness. But here's the deal. Now all U.S. investors can participate. All you have to do is click the link underneath the video, sign up and register. Before maybe someday you can't. Now you can, and they have the most affordable minimums on the planet when it comes to private equity. This shows you the true intent of Link2 as a family. They want to democratize finance for every person on earth. And what a goal that is. Click the link, get started. All right. Well, here's Robinhood. And now Robinhood's quite a different scenario, ladies and gentlemen. Robinhood has been known from time to time to get their hand caught in the cookie jar, right? Messing around, doing things you're not supposed to be in there. Well, let's just give you the rundown. So obviously, Robinhood's gotten their ass hung up in a sling again, and the investigation by the California Department of Justice concluded the following. Robinhood sold commodities contracts in violation of California commodities law, allowing customers who hoped their investment would become more valuable shortly to buy cryptocurrencies without actually delivering these assets to the customers. During that period, customers could not withdraw their cryptocurrency and were forced to sell it back to Robinhood to exit the trading platform. Robinhood also misled its customers. According to DOJ, Robinhood would connect to multiple trading venues to ensure the most competitive pricing between them, which was not always true. This is what's been found out through the case and the investigation. The company also claimed that all of its users' cryptocurrency was housed with Robinhood. Despite these assurances, Robinhood did not tell customers that there were instances in which it arranged for trading venues to hold customer assets for extended periods, according to Bonita's office. So, all of that comes down to these adjustments that have been made, a $3.9 million penalty, and then obviously allowing customers withdraw their crypto assets, righting all of the wrongs, right, that were just listed here, basically. But there you have it, right? Cleaning up the space. We can only hope that if we get the legislation we need, maybe we can put the kind of guardrails and framework in place that don't allow for this kind of gray area to take place. If compliance is in place, and if compliance was in place and they did this, well, what does it say about Robinhood, right? Nonetheless, let's move on now to Fred Rispoli, a pro XRP lawyer and the founder of HODL Law. We love Freddie. He's awesome. Has adjusted likelihood of an SEC appeal in the case against Ripple to 60%. Let's take a look at this. The odds are coming up is what we're learning here. Essentially, what he said, Rispoli explained to X that agreement to place such a substantial sum in a trust signals a potential move by the SEC towards appealing the case. He noted, while the odds have increased of an appeal, Ripple and the SEC have agreed to a range where 111% of the monetary judgment will be held in a trust to be paid to the SEC only on 30 days after the appeal deadline, after the appeal concludes. And it says here, he added that this does not guarantee an appeal, but the odds increase. Putting that kind of money in a trust is not something that is done unless the SEC is being evasive to Ripple lawyers as to whether it intends on appealing. Again, still possible that no appeals happens, but odds have increased. So this is just another way for the SEC to continue to be a thorn in the side of not only Ripple, but the entire crypto space, right, is what I'm seeing here. Now, let's get down to this here. When pressed by another user about his current view and the likelihood of an appeal, Rispoli estimated that another 60% in favor of appealing happening. That represents the nuance shift from his previous estimates were initially 55%, following the Kraken case ruling, which came in, and even earlier and an 80% probability. So we're at 60 right now is where he's at, right? So to those freaking out over the possibility of a Ripple appeal, don't. There won't be a ruling until 2026. SEC suing exchanges and alleging multiple tokens as securities has lessened the sting dramatically. If Ripple or XRP don't make it now, it's not because of the SEC case, the pro XRP lawyer remarked. And I think that's a great observation. If you go on down further here, Jeremy Hogan also kicked in on, or they covered Jeremy Hogan's thoughts as well. I believe it was in this article. Maybe it was in a different, no, it is in here. Yeah, if you look at this, that's really where Hogan comes in as well. And his speculation is likely that the SEC just hasn't made a decision whether it will appeal yet. Why? Filing a notice is simple and it only takes about 15 minutes, right? And it says you file the notice and then have 70 days to file the actual brief. If the decision to appeal was already made, there's no reason to delay the filing notice, especially when you think it's a bad case authority out there. So this new speculation comes on the heels of Ripple's latest filing on September 4th. However, let's take a look at this because we got to go back in time. I want to go back in time, right? You know. How many of you know that song? Name the artist of that song. So I want you to listen to this quick thing here. They are the ones who said it, says Chad Steingraber, and that's exactly right. That's what has always gotten me into this space, was the positive outlook and the amazing grand plan of really redesigning the new financial system. And that's really at the heart of it, what Ripple has done here using XRP and the XRP ledger, right? So take a listen to this old clip. Stay with me here. We're going somewhere. I'm going to land the plane.
And precisely the exact reason just you mentioned about Basel III capital requirements, regulatory uncertainty, and so on. So they said that A, it's volatile, B, there are no set of regulations, so we cannot hold those assets in our books. So we actually went back to the drawing board and said, okay, look, how do we change this? Which is why we came up with this product called XRapid. And again, I absolutely agree with Lisa, so we actually piloted, instead of piloting with big banks, we piloted with the big payment providers because they were more willing to do this. And you know what? This actually now works because they don't have to hold the digital asset on their books, but using the piece of software, XRapid, they can actually connect to a digital asset exchange, convert fiat to XRP real time, and then XRP to fiat in real time in the other leg.
So we see how the vision has gone, and that's the early days. Stay with me here now. Now, here's the early days of Mark Carney, former governor of Bank of England. Listen to what he says.
Last thing, and I won't take up our time on this, there's a series of important plumbing tweaks to the financial system that just help with information, help with structure of markets, and that will make sure we get capital, to people have solutions for addressing greenhouse gases and make it more efficient. So I think there's quite a bit there. There's a whole other set of agendas, but from my perspective, those are the ones that
most important. There you have it. Plumbing. The plumbing's got to be replaced.
This is just a simpler infrastructure way. I mean, look, in some ways, we're plumbers. Like, we're enabling a much more efficient plumbing. This is just...
Okay. Now listen to this. Current today. Guy running for president.
And instead of attacking industries of the future, we will embrace them, including making America the world capital for crypto and Bitcoin.
There you have it. And where is that? At the Economic Club of New York. You know, where I just showed you the clip of Brad Garlinghouse earlier. See what I'm saying? Economic Club of New York in 2019. And here just a few years later, now Trump's saying it. Well, now let's go to Tokyo 24. There's some incredible highlights here. But I want to take you to a section here of Brad Garlinghouse talking. And it's pretty remarkable what he says in here. And MonicaLong says some incredible things too. We're going to get to them. But let's start right here. And this whole conversation is amazing. So shout out to EricVanmiltonberg for making that happen. Let's take a listen to this right here. I think it's 1 second. There we go. Let's start right here.
Absolutely. Brad, same question to you. What's
well, I think
what fits in?
Well, I think one of the things that has stayed the same, which has been so powerful, and it is this idea of being a part of something bigger than you, is this idea around an internet of value and allowing value to move the way information moves today. You and I are old enough, Monica's not, but you and I are old enough to remember the earliest days of the internet. And it feels very similar, the movement. It feels like a movement, not really a revolution, but maybe an evolution in that regard. I think what has changed is it's so exciting to see the world move from just experiments and ideas to real projects, real utility, real customers. And I continue to think that the XRP Ledger is one of the very few where you see real enterprise use cases, there's still a lot of experimentation. There's a lot of meme coins that I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. And, I think Ripple and I think many in the XRP community have always tried to take a very long view about where the world will be 10 years from now, or whatever your time frame you want to talk about. But I've always believed we can argue about how long it's going to take. But I think everybody, I hope in this room, would agree that relying upon things like SWIFT, which was architected 50 years ago, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it's going to change. We can argue about how fast and how long and which banks and all those things, but I go to bed at night every night knowing it's going to get there.
And that's how I feel. That's how I've always felt. And I've never lost a confidence in the original vision. And that's exactly what Brad is saying right there. No matter what's in front of them, no matter what hurdles are in front of them, he goes to bed every night knowing that he's never given up on the long dream, because we're going to get there. And you know what? We are going to get there. And we're closer now than ever. So why would anybody else give up? They're not giving up. Why would I give up? I mean, that's, to me, legislation, it's very clear. It's very clear that legislation is what needs to happen so we can open this log jam up so the financial world can use this stuff. That's where we're at here. And I don't think we're far away from seeing it happen. Continue here.
Do I wish it happened faster? Absolutely. Do I wish, the governments wouldn't be obstacles? Do I wish banks wouldn't be so concerned and, cautious? Yes, of course. But I also, to see billions of dollars of activity where, I remember when we had $1 million, it was like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable, we're making progress. So that's exciting. So some things have stayed the same, some things have evolved.
One thing that hasn't changed is Brad's never satisfied with how quickly things move, so you can kind of get a vision of that. I'm still recovering from him calling me old, but I guess I'll...
I don't know how old you think I am. I don't remember pre-internet.
Okay, so now there's some really great clips in here. I hate to skip over some of this, but for time's sake, I want to give you the highlights here. 1 second. Let's listen to Monica talk about the recent partnership here with Futureverse. This is a great, great exchange. Take a listen.
We've been traveling around the region recently, and it's one of the fun things is we've been able to share a lot of new, exciting news. One of those announcements was around our Futureverse partnership related to custody. But custody is a relatively new entrant in the lineup for Ripple, if you will. So maybe interesting for the audience to hear a little bit about our journey. So we're adding stablecoins. Futureverse, kind of highlight the custody. How do we get there, and what sort of was that progression?
Yeah. Through our payments business, we had to solve a lot of problems to bring the benefits of doing payments on chain, which we all know is about speed, transparency, cost efficiency. Bring those benefits to regulated institutions.
And to regulated institutions. Keep listening to what she's saying now. It's super powerful.
In a way that was seamless. So I think something many of us in the industry may underestimate is just the challenge of integrating blockchains with traditional systems, so payment systems. So that's been a long-standing priority of ours, and over time we have built payout capabilities into more than 80 markets. We've also had to create and solve for creating liquidity across different fiat currencies as well as digital assets. And so that also as an operation is something that, those two things together we think are some things that financial institutions can use not just for payments but for other use cases in the future.
So the financial institutions could use in other use cases in the future. They haven't changed what they're doing, right? If anything I've seen changed over all these years, in my opinion, it's their verbiage. They started out in the early days saying XRP is really designed to be like world reserve currency, right? And then I think they caught so much flack from regulators and probably governments with that kind of clear language like that they were like, whoa, that's kind of intimidating and scary and feels threatening to the current financial and monetary system. But when you just get down to saying, hey, look, it's like a bridge asset, and then you explain it on a fundamental level instead of a macro idea, then I think the regulators start to turn down and calm down and go, oh, okay, so I see. It doesn't actually threaten anything. It complements the system. And what I see here between Brad and Monica and what exchange is going on and what they're highlighting, the vision is still preparing to serve the financial system in whole. So keep listening.
So that's kind of what sprouted this vision for Ripple to really become this end-to-end digital asset infrastructure provider for financial services to come to blockchain. And so the next piece was to bring in custody through the Medico acquisition. The RLUSD stablecoin is another kind of critical piece. And what's really exciting is we see XRP Ledger being best in class for institutional decentralized finance. So our priority is for all these things to tightly integrate with XRP Ledger and to for XRPL to ultimately become the super DEX, the decentralized exchange that has the most powerful flywheel effect for liquidity. It attracts liquidity from other chains.
It attracts liquidity from other chains. I have said this from day one, right? The whole idea of launching that stablecoin on the Ethereum network is to get people off of there. Mass exodus off of the Ethereum network. That's what's going down there. Flare can even help with that too.
So that's the big idea.
Bring it all together. That's exciting.
That is a big idea. And those are the big ideas I like, because when an idea is big enough and grand enough, you'd never quit jumping trying to reach it. And that's what Ripple understands. Monica understands it. Brad understands it. Eric understands it. And everybody on that team understands it. And I know I do. And that's why I'm so bullish, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's take a look at this very quickly here. This is Dark Defender showing us that, hey there, XRP produced a 7th green wave trend indicator in the monthly chart since 2013. Now, 3 out of 7 of them were false. So what does this one mean? Looking at these green dots down here, you can see the ones in the boxes are actually the false signals, right? So you have to wonder, is this going to end up being a false signal or one that actually turns us into a bull market? Well, I don't know, or a bull run. I don't know. He doesn't know. He's just showing us indicators so we can try to figure it out. And I appreciate him doing that. Now I want to take a look at this really quickly here. And this is a look back at Dark Defender's chart talking about $18.22. And this is interesting to me because the technical analysts that we cover heavily here, Egg Red Crypto and Dark Defender, have been showing us for years what the charts are revealing. And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, and it's been years and it hasn't happened. Well, and it's been years that we've been tied up in a legal case. It's been years since we've never had any legal clarity. You know, all of this is coming to a head, but that doesn't mean that what's on the chart isn't real. What it means is that fundamental news, in my mind, has to take place and clear the path so the rest of what is on the chart can be realized. And that's why I keep showing charts, right? Because the reality is such is that, you know, all of these things are there, but they're indicators. And unless the fundamental news goes the way we need it to go, nothing will reveal itself on a chart except stagnation and decline, right? So that's why we look at it. And all the news that we see, all the positive connections, the fact that Ripple's more bullish than ever, and the fact that I am too, is because I know how close we are to getting that legislation and opening the logjam for this entire space, let alone Ripple and XRP. All right, it's time to go into the Freedom Zone. Oh my goodness, I have a clip for you about, I don't even know how to express this. It is a presidential candidate declaring that they're going to chase down free speech and stomp it out of existence. I don't know how else to say it. And the truth is, I'm sharing what I'm going to show you, but it is going to get said directly to you. And then I'm going to show you not only is the free speech in jeopardy, but so is the Constitution. This is why we got to do it in the Freedom Zone, because the platform that you're seeing this on right now is communist. That is a fact, Jack. I've dealt with that too. Go to digperspectives.com, click the Freedom Zone, and come on in for next to nothing. Listen, you can join the DPMG if you'd like, but that window's closing soon. If you're interested in learning how to use XRP Ledger Automated Market Makers, if you're interested in learning how to understand trust, how you can protect yourself by putting your assets and money in trust, we are going through a case study right now on trust. Learn how to protect and maintain your wealth. Look, you don't want to just grow your portfolio. You want to grow your mind with your portfolio so you don't lose it. And that's what we're doing inside the DPMG. And if you join that, you get the Freedom Zone for free. Click the link below. See us on digperspectives.com. And we're going in right now to get started. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Come on in. Here we go.